Rosie, I'm going to make a grapefruit upside down cake. Now, what I'm going to get you to do, Rosie, is this is a grapefruit. This is a zester. I want you to zest it into the Maggi mix.
I think I can do that.
You can do that. There we go. And then I'll get it started. Now, what I've got over here, Rosie, I want you to show you. I've got some caramel. I put 120 grams of sugar, caster sugar, into a pan, a non-stick pan, and I just turned it on nice and low until it caramelised. Once it caramelised, it got the right amount of caramel. What I did is I got half a grapefruit and squeezed it in there, stops it from cooking any further, and you can see I've got some cinnamon and some star anise in there. Cardamon's also really nice. So
beautiful.
I've let that stand there. You get zesting there. And what I'm going to do is grab some butter. And I've got some unsalted butter here. I'm going to add 200 grams of it. Now, this is a 250 gram block, so I know that if I take this off here, I reckon I'll have the right amount.
You do know your measurements well when it comes to that, don't you?
I do. I can sort of feel, hang on a second. Yeah, that's about 210 grams there, I reckon. But in goes my butter. And I'm also going to add 200 grams of caster sugar. So what we're going to do is grab the lid there, Rosie. We're going to pop it into place. We're going to turn it on and get it whizzing around. The sugar and the butter will cream together. And once that's creaming together, we're going to open the lid here and we're going to crack 5 eggs, one by one, into the middle of it so it all comes together. And then we'll put the flour and the almond meal and the rest of the stuff into it. But on we go. I'm going to turn that on now and get it going. There we go, Rosie. It's all mixed together.
Alrighty.
Look at that.
Oh, that looks good, doesn't it?
It does, it does. Now, what I'm going to do is just scrape down the side here to get it all out.
Lovely.
Smells great. Butter and sugar and a little bit of zest. Oh, look at that. There we go. We've got it all out there. I'll hand that to you, Rosie. Now, what I'm going to do is fold through 200 grams of self-raising flour. And I'm using a cake flour, which is nice and fine and light and fluffy, which will help it to air up beautifully.
That's superb. And the great thing is about these sort of things is when they've done the thinking for you, if you're a bit of a novice cook, it's great because you can just pick it up and you know how to do it.
We're not novice cooks, but anyone else making this can do it.
It's intimidating sometimes. It's great when someone's done the thinking for you.
Exactly. And what I'm going to do now is fold through the self-raising flour. I'll put a bit of baking powder in there, just a teaspoon of that, and I'll fold that into the butter and sugar mixture there, and you'll see it soften up. Now, I've got a little bit of milk there, just on the side there. What I want you to do is pour that in now, and I'll just add the 1/4 cup there, which softens the batter up nicely. You can see this is coming together beautifully. Fold that through like that. Now, while that's sitting there for a second, what we're going to do, Rosie, is we're going to put some grapefruit in there. Now, I'll show you this. This is a great way of actually cutting the grapefruit so you get the round pieces. What I do is I take the top and the bottom off, and then with a knife go around the outside there to take the peel and the pith, which is the white part. You want to make sure you get that off because it's quite bitter, all the way around there like that. And what we're going to do with these, Rosie, is pop them on the bottom of the pan there with the caramel. So move that aside there.
I can smell that grapefruit smell coming, and that's actually quite nostalgic for me. When I was a kid, one of my favourite trips was to Barbados, and that's actually where these originate from. So I was eating them every single morning.
You've been eating them since you were this big. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do with these babies here is pop them around the bottom of the pan here like that till we get them all the way around. Little one in the centre there. Grab the batter here, and I'm going to pour this over the top. There we go. Hold the bowl there.
There you go.
Pour that over the top, and as this cooks down, it will puff up a little bit. We'll get all the last little bits out of the bowl there.
So there's going to be a little surprise at the bottom there.
There we go.
Once you flip it over.
It won't be at the bottom. It'll be at the top. And the trick is, it will be a surprise if I can get it all over the top there. Now, what I'm going to do is just smooth that around just a little bit till it goes to the edges. Don't worry, because it will spread out as it starts to cook nice and evenly. Now, you can see I'm using a non-stick fry pan, and that's quite important because when I go to take the cake out, you know, if it's in a non-stick fry pan, it comes out easily. If you don't have one of these, you could always line a pan with baking paper, or as my mum used to do sometimes, she would actually get a cake tin, line it with baking paper, make sure there's foil around the bottom of it so that the caramel won't leak out of it. But this is going into the oven, preset at 160 degrees Celsius. It'll take about 35 minutes, puff up a little bit. We'll let it sit, and then we'll turn it out. Now, Rosie, you can see it's baked all the way through. And I tested it with a skewer to make sure it was cooked. Skewer goes in, when it comes out clean, you know it's ready to go. Now, tipping it upside down is
very excited.
Is a bit of a knack, so you just want to pop the plate on top like that, and then you do the old cross your heart and hope to die, and then stick a needle in your eye, and then grab your hand here, really, really good grip on both sides, and then flip it over. And then hopefully, if I've been a good boy forever and ever, out it pops. Look at that.
Never doubted you for a second.
Oh my goodness. There we go. Look at that. That looks great, doesn't it?
Oh, not only looks great, smells great. Careful.
Now, what I'm going to do is cut into it. You can see the star anise and the cinnamon.
They're beautiful.
Really spicy, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
really come out. And the grapefruit looks great. I almost don't want to cut into it, but if you don't cut into it, you don't get to eat it. So in we go.
True.
There we go. Oh, look at that.
Wowza.
We lost one of the little grapefruit there. There we go.
We'll get it, don't you worry.
Nice and gently. And I'm just going to rip that out. It's still steaming a little bit on the
Wow.
outside. I'm going to pop it onto the plate here.
Yep.
And Rosie, I'm going to dress it up a little bit. A little bit of the dollop of cream on the side there, and some icing sugar on the top there to make it nice and tasty.
Beautiful.
Little mint leaf. It doesn't take much to make a cake look like a great dessert. I'm going to sprinkle some pistachio nut over there. This gives it a nice bit of crunch. Now I'm just going to pop this out of the way.
Now, of course, I know it's really, really good with cream, but I could use a coconut ice cream or a Greek yogurt or something like that if I just want to, you know, play it down a little bit more.
You could, but why would you? You know, when you've got a beautiful dollop of cream like this.
Oh, it's very fluffy.
Sometimes, Rosie, you just have to go with it.
Now I have a bit of grapefruit on here, so...
Really nice. You've got the acidity of the grapefruit, and it's not too strong. You got a little bit of that spice through there as well. You know, that caramel's all the way through there. And that sponge or that cake batter is nice and fluffy.
It's
and
very
light.
fluffy. I thought it was going to be quite heavy, but it's like heaven on earth.
A little bit fluffy like me. What do you think?